Hi everybody, it's Webby. Welcome to another video. Today I'm really excited because I'm getting the chance to film the brand new Ford Ranger Wildtrak. This is a car I've been looking forward to for such a long time, since last November, since Ford actually announced the car. So it's finally arrived at the dealership. This is the first one we've got here. So I'm going to do a review video for you, show you around the car, have a look at the inside, all the new technology on the car, take you for a quick drive as well. And then give you my thoughts and opinions on what I think of this new car. As I said, I'm really excited about this, so yeah, can't wait to get into it. So this particular one is the 2-litre bi-turbo diesel, but you can get it obviously with the 3-litre V6 turbo diesel, which most people have ordered, because obviously everyone seems to want the V6. But either way, styling wise, obviously completely different from the old model. I absolutely love the way that this new car looks. It's got that sort of whole mini F-150 look to it, particularly with these sort of C-clamp LED daytime running lamps. It's got unique styling, being this is the Wildtrak. The bolder grey colour that we had on the previous model continues on this one as well. And it's got unique styling down sort of the centre section here and the bar across the middle. Obviously the satin lower section down the lower part of the bumper. The Ford badge looks a bit bigger to me. Not sure whether that's because it's got a 360 camera built into it or not. But yeah, it feels a little bit bigger. This particular car has got the optional premium pack. The premium pack is really hard to get hold of at the moment. There's a long delay for people ordering premium packs because the parts for that pack are in such short supply at the minute. It's really hard to get hold of them. So we're actually quite lucky to get this car with the premium pack. I'll show you some of the features of that pack as we go around the car, because you know, not everyone's going to get a chance to see them. So it starts off at the front. You've got these what they call matrix LED headlights. So to explain the difference, the standard car gets the bi-LED headlights, so your low beam and your high beam are LED. You've then also got the automatic high beam, so if a car comes the opposite way, the high beam will dip automatically and then go back up to high beam once the other car's gone past. The matrix side of things means that if a car's coming towards you, the headlights have the ability to block out that side of the road so it doesn't blind the person coming towards you, but it'll keep the high beam working on the left side of the road so you can still see where you're going. They're also adaptive as well, so they can see around corners and that type of thing. So a really clever bit of technology. This is the Luxe yellow colour. So this is kind of the hero colour, if you like. You've probably seen all the advertising in this colour. It does look better in person than it does on the photos, or if you see a video on the internet or something. It does actually look really good. Particularly when you've got the contrast of sort of the grey sections on the bar, and also the dark coloured wheels and door mirrors as well. So it's actually quite a nice colour. Coming around to the side of the Wildtrak, we've got unique dark grey coloured alloy wheels, unique to the Wildtrak. And we've also got as standard Goodyear Wrangler all-terrain tyres, which is quite unusual for a manufacturer to put all-terrain tyres on a dual cab ute. The only other one I can think of is the Ranger Raptor. I'm sure there's probably other manufacturers that do it, but yeah, still quite a rare thing to see. Door mirror caps are grey steel. We've got the 360 cameras underneath. We've also got the lighting for the zone lighting as well underneath the door mirrors as well. Side steps are obviously standard, keyless entry standard. We've got the roof rails which we had on the Wildtrak on the previous model as well. Privacy glass, and then we've obviously got the electric roll top. I'll get into that a little bit more when we get round to the back of the car. So then looking at the back of the car, we've got the rear step, which is standard on all models apart from the Raptor. That's actually quite handy if, if you put a canopy on your car and you need to get something off the roof because you've got some crossbars or a platform on there or something. That's actually really neat. We've got obviously the electric roll top that we've always had on the Wildtrak. These bars sit slightly higher than they did before though, so there's actually a gap underneath. So it's actually quite useful if you want to tie something to secure your load, something like that. It actually works much better than it did on the previous model. You can see behind me, there's the white Sport V6. That's a separate video, so go and check that one out. That's on the channel as well. That's actually a really cool car. Now with the electric roll top like before, You can actually operate it from the key. There's a button inside the tub, or there's a button inside the actual cabin. So we can just double click the button on the key. That'll open up the roll top for us. And then open up the tub. And there you go, there's the new design of tub. The tub is actually a little bit bigger than the previous model because the rear suspension has been moved to the outside of the leaf springs. So what's that enabled them to do is actually make the wheel arch intrusions in the tub smaller, so you can now fit a Euro-sized pallet in between the wheel arches. And it does make the actual tub bigger overall than the previous generation Ranger. Another feature of that premium pack that I was talking about earlier is the fact that you get full LED tail lights as well. Another nice feature, because at night time obviously you can be seen a little bit brighter from people travelling behind you. The blind spot monitor that is built into the rear lights as well. There's a feature on that where you can actually put the dimensions of whatever you're towing behind you into the infotainment screen. So the blind spot monitor will adjust itself to take into account the fact you're towing something. So it won't just take into the measurements of the actual Ranger, it will put in the boat or caravan and whatever you're towing behind you as well. So that's a really, really clever, important safety feature. So that's a bit about the outside of the car that we've had a look around. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to give it a like. Also subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell, because there's going to be a load more content coming on the new Ranger throughout the year. There's going to be heaps of stuff coming out, separate videos of things like how to use and set up your Sync 4 system, plus other bits and pieces as well. So yeah, stay tuned for bits and pieces to come, like I say, throughout the year. So now let's have a look at the inside of the new Ranger Wildtrak. Look at the new design of the dashboard and some of the new features on the car, because I think you'll be really, really impressed. Right, so let's have a look at the inside then. We'll start off with the driver's door. As we had on the last Wildtrak, we've got the orange stitching here along the door edge and also at the top there. Window switches and mirror controls are there. We've got the new style door handle there. So instead of having the door handle up here, it's actually just down here. So you squeeze this together and then you push on the door to actually get it open. Sounds a bit strange, but actually in practice works really, really well. Coming inside, full leather trim as per what we've had on Wildtraks before. The leather does actually seem slightly softer and a bit better quality as well, so it's actually really nice. Also good to see the Wildtrak emblem stitched into the seat there as well. Fully electric on the driver's side, and it's also now electric on the passenger side, which is nice to see. So let's jump in and have a proper look around the cabin. So the steering wheel's got the normal buttons like we've seen on other models. These ones here will operate the screen in front of the driver, and then we've got all the adaptive cruise control and some of the safety systems there, as well as your volume for your radio. It's just going to bring the car into life so we can have a look at that digital dash. It's actually a pretty cool graphic, I think. It's actually really easy to read, there's plenty of information on there, and yeah, it's nice to use. So we just get rid of that button there. We can actually cycle through the different screens just by using these buttons here up and down. So at the minute we're obviously looking at the audio, then you can go to things like your trip computer as well, so it's nice and easy to use. On the right hand side of the screen you've obviously got your digital fuel gauge. On the left hand side is the engine temperature gauge, and then in the middle digital speedo, and then it tells you that you've got your lane keeping aid active as well. So it's nice and easy to use. So from over there we come over to the new Sync 4 infotainment screen. In the Wildtrak it's the 12-inch screen, which also then goes up to the Raptor as well. So it's a little bit bigger screen than you get in the other models. I am doing a separate video, as I said before, of how to set up a new Sync 4, because if I did it now it would take far too long. This video would just go on for absolutely ages. So I will be making a separate video of how to use this Sync 4 system. But very basically you've got your sat nav up here, you've got your sort of other bits and pieces like radio, phone and media down there. There's some buttons there for the air conditioning and also your heated seats. But then it's also nice to see some physical buttons down here as well. So you can adjust your temperatures with these two buttons here for your climate control. Then you've got your volume and on and off for your radio, fan speeds, and then sort of demist for your front windscreen and maximum air conditioning with recirculation and hazard warnings. So it's all pretty straightforward stuff. Under that You've then got the wireless charging pad so you can charge your phones up, a little bit of storage there, and then a USB-A and a USB-C where you can plug your phones in via cable as well, which you do need to do if you want to obviously charge a second phone. We've then got the electronic shifter here, so you've got your normal sort of modes on top there. Round to the side you've got a manual button, so if you want to change gear yourself you can do. Obviously the plus and the minus, so it's pretty easy to use. The trick with this, if you've got the car in drive for example, if you turn the ignition off, watch what it does. Actually puts yourself back into park so you don't accidentally get out of the car and leave it in drive, which I think is a really cool feature. Alright, let's turn the engine back on. This is the 2-litre bi-turbo diesel, so sounds a little bit noisier than the V6, but still not too bad. You've got electronic parking brake there. We've then got the different drive modes there, so that will take you between your different sort of off-road modes. You can turn off the traction control there, and then that button there is for the fully automatic self-parking system. So that's going to be another video as well, because again I need to actually figure out how it works, so I can actually show everybody what it does and exactly how you operate it. So then we've got the drive modes here as well as your 4-wheel drive options, so 2, 4 high and 4 low like we had before. The drive modes, you actually twist this sort of dial here, and then what it will do is on the display there in front of the driver, every time you twist it, it changes modes. So we've got economy, and then we've got the tow and haul mode. So if you are towing, the system will adjust the throttle input and the traction control to counter in the fact that you're actually towing something. If we twist again, we've then got some of the off-road modes, so like slippery, mud and ruts, and you can see it's actually putting the vehicle straight away into a 4-wheel drive mode as well. It then shows you the status of the 4-wheel drive system, inclines and articulation of the vehicle as well, which is pretty clever. And if we go around again, we've got mud and ruts and also sand. So a couple of different sort of terrain modes there as well. So hopefully you won't get stuck when you drive in your new Wildtrak off-road. And then behind that, come there, we've got the armrest, which has got a nice little cubby hole inside. And we've got another 12-volt power socket in there too. But if you have a sort of general look around the cabin, it's a really nice place to be. The dashboard itself is a little bit more vertical than it was in the previous model, and it's not quite as deep as well. So it actually pushes the dashboard a little bit further away from the front passengers. So it actually does create a little bit more room inside the cabin, which is really nice. But yeah, have a look around there. It's actually a really nice designed cabin. Everything's sort of fairly plain and simple, although there is quite a lot of stuff on that Sync 4 system. But it just does feel very sort of practical. It feels very modern and up to date. And I have to say, I think Ford have done a really good job of this. I'm looking forward to getting to play with the Sync 4 properly, get to grips with the digital display a bit better once I've learnt a bit more about the car. So yeah, it's quite a cool place to be. Another thing we got with that premium pack I mentioned earlier, as you can probably just see up there, you also get a B&O Play upgraded sound system, rather than the sort of standard setup you get in the car. So looking forward to having a listen to that as well. The seats in the new Ranger Wildtrak are really comfortable. There's plenty of support, but it doesn't sort of pinch you in too much and make things uncomfortable. So yeah, they're lovely, and so the leather definitely does feel a bit softer. Obviously full electric adjustment like we had before. The steering wheel is really nice. I like the orange stitching again like we had on the previous model, and this gloss back section down the bottom. You can actually adjust it now for height and reach, whereas before on the old one it was just height adjustable. So it's nice, you can move the steering wheel in and out. You've got a little lever just here, so yeah, it's nice and easy, and you can just get that perfect driving position. Actually down next to that to the left is the factory fitted electric brake controller switches as well that I forgot to mention earlier. The driver's seat is electric, but also the passenger seat is electric as well now, and obviously they're both heated. So this is my driving position, exactly where I'd have it if I was driving. Good visibility out the side, same great visibility out the front of the car as well. But let's have a look in the back and see how much space we've got back there. So getting into the back of the new Ranger Wildtrak, you can actually see how easy it was to get in. The doors open nice and wide, and then you've got the grab handles up here to help you get in the car. In terms of space, well, as you can see, I've got acres of leg space in front of me. I can actually fit my feet under the driver's seat. That's really important when you're on a long journey and you can stretch your legs out a little bit. Even if you've got someone taller in the front seat and they move their seat back a long way, I still think you're going to have plenty of leg room, so I don't think that's going to become an issue. But yeah, as a general rule, it feels really lovely and comfortable back here. As I said, the side view out the back is really good. We've also got some rear air vents, which is nice to see as well. And then down the bottom, we've got two USB charging points. We've got a standard USB and we've got a USB-C, which is the fast charger. So helps the kids' devices like phones and iPads charge while you're driving along, which is really, really cool. And actually, if you've got a fast charger, you can even charge up things like your iPad or a laptop too, which is quite cool. We've then got the traditional fold-down armrest with a couple of cup holders. The two outer seats have got the ISOFIX child seat fixings for baby seats. So you've got everything you'd really need back here. You've got the darker headline, again being the Wildtrak. We've also got a decent amount of headroom as well. Again, I'm not overly tall, but even if you're 6 foot, I still think you'd be fine in the back. Now in the overhead console, we've got obviously the lighting here. We've got a sunglasses holder, but because this vehicle's got the optional premium pack, we've also got these 6 auxiliary switches as well. So if you're going to hook up something like spotlights or a light bar or a winch, you can actually use these switches here to wire them up rather than having lots of switches just around the cabin and having to drill holes and bits and pieces. So that's actually really, really handy. So just checking out some of the bits and pieces on the passenger side of the cabin of the new Wildtrak. You actually get a secondary glove box just above sort of the standard one, and you can open it with this little button here. So you do get a little bit more storage. It's actually not too bad actually, that's pretty deep. And you can get a few bits and pieces in there. Then also on the Wildtrak you get these pop-out cup holders. So you just push it in and it pops out there with this little stabilised bit at the bottom. And then this section adjusts so you can put different size either coffee cups or bottles in there. So that's actually quite a neat idea. Now in terms of safety equipment, this new Ranger Wildtrak has got everything you'll need. From things like autonomous braking, lane keeping aid, lane departure warning, you've got that blind spot monitor, adaptive cruise with stop and go, 9 airbags, so there's everything there that you would pretty much need. In terms of warranty, it's 5 years unlimited mileage like we've had on all the other Ford models. Capped price servicing is available for the first 4 services. So that will take you up to 60,000 Ks because servicing's 12 months, 15,000 Ks as before. So the first 4 are capped at $329 each. You also get your roadside assistance like you did before. So a year automatically, then that continues every time you have another service at your local Ford dealership, and you get the free loan car as before. So those bits haven't changed. So this new Wildtrak is going to be just as popular as the old model, I think. Even based on just the amount of orders we've taken for this new model. Very soon, once the supply is, available, these cars are going to be absolutely everywhere. And there's a good reason. It's an absolutely fantastic ute. A lot of people will use this just as a work tool, but then a lot of my customers use this as a weekend sort of lifestyle vehicle as well. Whether you're towing your horse slate, your boat, your caravan, this new Ranger can do absolutely everything you need. So yeah, in the next few months you'll be seeing loads of these on the road, and for very good reason. So now all we need to do is actually take this new Wildtrak for a drive, just to see how it behaves on the road. Interested to see whether the all-terrain tyres make a difference, whether there's any noise that comes through to the cabin. So they tend to be a little bit noisier than a standard road tyre. So that's something I want to check out. But also check out how it feels to drive. Does any noise come through to the cabin generally other than the tyres? Yeah, and just have a feel of what she's like on the road. So let's get going. Gonna have to stick my sunnies on because it is pretty bright out there today. So yeah, let's go and see what it's like. Although the 2.2 is a little bit noisier than the V6, it still gets up and goes pretty well. Yeah, it's not slow or anything like that, it's actually really good. There's no tyre noise coming through the cabin, which is really, really pleasing. And generally no noise coming through the cabin at all. It does feel like they've definitely put more sort of money into sort of the sound coming through into the cabin. It does feel like a car, you know, other than the fact you sit a bit higher and it doesn't ride quite like a car, but the actual general sort of feeling inside the cabin doesn't make you feel like you're in a dual cab ute at all. The seats are lovely and supportive. So this steering wheel is really nice as well. I love this orange stitching. Just feels really nice in the hand. View is really good out the front, also out the side windows as well. The gear changes seem a bit smoother in this new model as well. Whether they've done something to the software, I know the engine's 3 kilowatt less than the 2 litre bi-turbo was in the old Ranger, but the gear changes feel smoother. Don't know whether that's just my imagination and whether it actually is a bit better. But yeah, it definitely feels a bit nicer to drive. The wing mirrors are really decent size as well. I mean, I know you've got the blind spot monitor as well, but the actual size of the glass is really good. You get a really good view behind you of what's behind you, not just your blind spots, but in all the other lanes as well. The digital display in front of the driver is actually really easy to read whilst you're driving. Now, the speed is nice and big in front of you. The other bits and pieces are really clearly labelled, so you're not having to take your eyes off the road too much to actually see what's going on in front of the driver. It does feel like the sort of thing you can, you know, do a long journey in and you wouldn't feel tired at the other end. It's really comfortable. It's definitely a lot quieter inside than the previous generation Wildtrak. I was worried those all-terrain tyres were going to cause a bit of noise, but in fact they're just the same as normal road tyres. So yeah, it's a very nice, quiet place to be. Although the vast majority of people have ordered the V6, or certainly from my customers, I think the 2 litre still has a place, because not everybody wants to be towing, you know, big heavy trailers or anything like that. In fact, if you're not towing, this is probably the better, because you can save yourself a bit of money and you'll actually get a car quicker too. The more I sit in these seats, the more comfortable they feel, and nice and sort of soft, and there's actually really good back support as well. And there's actually lumbar support for the driver as well, which is really nice. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, give it a like, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and also hit that notification bell as I mentioned earlier, because there's loads more content coming with new Rangers for the rest of this year. If you've got any comments or questions about the new Ranger Wildtrak, please leave them below in the comments section. I'll come back to you as soon as I can. So that just leaves me to say thanks very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.